understand what length is and how to measure it. The word length is used to measure how long an object is. For example, length of the classroom floor, length of the blackboard, length of a pencil, etc. It is also used to measure distances. For example, distance from your home to school, distance between two cities or countries. Size of millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. Let's start by looking at 1 meter. This is often measured with something called a meter stick, which is about the length of a baseball bat. Now, if we were to zoom in on a meter stick, we see all of these little dashes. Now, each one of those little dashes represents 1 centimeter. It's about the size of 1 US dime. So now we have both meters and centimeters. We can see that a meter is a lot bigger. But if we zoom back in on all those centimeters, it can actually get even smaller. You could break each centimeter into smaller pieces. And each one of these tiny sections is called 1 millimeter. Now, a millimeter is really small. It's about the thickness of a dime. And so now we have 3 measurements. Millimeters are the smallest. Then we have centimeters and meters. Now, the biggest is 1 kilometer. For kilometers, I want you to think about a football field. Then think about taking 10 football fields and lining them up in a row. All of that put together would be 1 kilometer. And here are the 4 types of measurements you need to know: millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. Let's practice some of this together. Here we are asked, which of these is a realistic measurement of this person? 2 millimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 meters, or 2 kilometers? Let's start by looking at 2 millimeters. Well, we just learned that 1 millimeter is about the thickness of a coin. So does 2 millimeters seem like the right size for a full person? No, 2 millimeters is way too small. How about let's look at 2 centimeters? Well, remember that 1 centimeter is about the size of a dime. Is a person the size of 2 dimes? No, that's still way too small. Let's look at 2 meters now. Remember that a meter is about the length of a baseball bat. Is a person about the size of 2 baseball bats? Yes, 2 baseball bats is a realistic measurement of a person. And then if we think about 2 kilometers, that doesn't make sense because we know 1 kilometer is the size of 10 whole football fields. That's way too big for a person. So the most realistic measurement of a person is 2 meters. Here's another problem to practice with. Which of these is a realistic measurement of this pencil? 6 millimeters, 6 centimeters, 6 meters, or 6 kilometers? Let's start with 6 millimeters. Remember that 1 millimeter is really tiny, like this tiny dot right here. Does that seem like 6 millimeters would be the length of a pencil? No, that's way too small. Well, what about 6 centimeters? Remember, 1 centimeter is about the size of a dime. Does 6 centimeters seem like the right size for a pencil? Yes, 6 centimeters is about the length of the pencil. That's a realistic measurement. Both 6 meters and 6 kilometers would be too big. The only realistic measurement of a pencil is 6 centimeters. Now it's time for you to practice on your own. Which of these is a realistic measurement of this bridge? Well, a bridge is definitely bigger than 1 millimeter. It's definitely bigger than a centimeter, and it's definitely bigger than 1 meter. The only realistic length of a bridge is 1 kilometer. Now here's your last problem for this video. Which of these is a realistic measurement of this candy? Well, I know that these candies are pretty small, so 7 millimeters, that actually sounds like a realistic measurement. 7 centimeters would be 7 times the size of a dime. That's too big. As are 7 meters and 7 kilometers. Those are way too big. 7 millimeters is the realistic measurement of this candy. Today you learned about the size of millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers.